Byte of Truth. The vibe coding paradox, when I moves faster than trust.
If artificial intelligence is writing 60% of Airbnb's code and making over 1,000 jobs obsolete at Cloudflare, why are we still measuring productivity by hours worked instead of actual output? Welcome to Byte of Truth. I am Sebastian, and today we are cutting through the hype to ask a very uncomfortable question. Are we building faster than we can secure, and are we automating faster than we can trust? This week, the tech landscape is caught in a bizarre paradox. On one hand, we have CEOs boasting about AI writing the majority of their code. On the other, we have thousands of vibe-coded applications leaking corporate data like a sieve. We have AI making jobs obsolete, while politicians propose long-shot job guarantees for the displaced. And while we race to build super-intelligent agents that can spawn sub-agents, we are also realizing that global leaderboards are statistically indistinguishable noise. And our most advanced models are hallucinating citations that look perfectly legitimate. Today, we are going to unpack all of this. We will look at why your favorite language model has a goblin mode problem in Chinese, why a reggae band is fighting an existential battle against AI slop, and the structural reason why the very first word an AI reads holds all the power. Let's dive in.
Research breakthroughs.
Let's start in the weeds with the research that is quietly reshaping how these machines think. We tend to treat large language models as magical black boxes. We type a prompt, we get an answer. But under the hood, these models have a strange structural quirk that researchers are only now fully understanding. It is called the attention sink. Think of attention as the model's limited focus. Every time it reads a sentence, it has to decide which words matter most. For reasons that have puzzled researchers, the very first token of a sequence, often just the start of sentence marker, hoards a massive amount of this attention. It monopolizes the focus. A new paper on Recursive explains why. It turns out, this is not a bug. It is a structural requirement. The feed-forward layers of these models develop what the authors call superneurons. These superneurons act like anchors, stabilizing the entire model by tying everything back to that initial token. If you remove these attention sinks, the model becomes unstable and falls apart. It is a bit like a ship needing a heavy keel to stay upright in a storm. The keel does not move the ship forward, but without it, the whole thing capsizes. The researchers proposed a fix called headwise RMS norm, which stabilizes the model without relying on those fragile initial tokens. But attention sinks are just the beginning of our architectural rethink. We have been obsessed with chain of thought, the idea that models should think step by step, sequentially. It sounds very logical, very human, but it is slow. Researchers at Bayer are proposing adaptive parallel reasoning. Instead of thinking step by step, what if a model could fork its thinking into parallel threads, solve multiple parts of a problem at once, and then join those threads back together? They are calling these frameworks Threadweaver and Multiverse. It is the architectural shift we need to move from thinking sequentially to thinking wide. And finally, one more breakthrough that challenges our assumptions. Usually when you fine-tune a model, you permanently alter its weights. You bake a behavior into the machine, but a new paper introduces reversible supervised fine-tuning, or reversible SFT. They compress a behavior like a safety filter, or a specific writing style, into a sparse carrier. Then, at inference time, you can erase that behavior using a soft prompt, without ever modifying the original weights. This is a massive deal for copyright and safety. Imagine licensing a specific voice or safety filter that can be toggled on and off like a light switch, without having to rebuild the entire house.
Corporate moves and industry shifts.
Now, let's shift from the architecture to the boardroom. The corporate world is making moves that are either going to accelerate our progress or leave us all unemployed. Or perhaps both. Cloudflare, a company that just reported record revenue, recently laid off over 1,000 employees. The CEO explicitly cited AI efficiency gains as the reason. Support roles are becoming obsolete. It is a stark contrast to the utopian promise of augmentation. Meanwhile, Airbnb's CEO boasted that AI now writes 60% of their new code, and bots handle 40% of customer support. If AI is writing most of the code and handling most of the support, we have to ask, what exactly are the humans doing? Are we just reviewing the machine's homework? This brings us to what I am calling the vibe coding paradox. Companies like Lovable and Replit are letting anyone build functional applications in seconds just by describing them. It is pure vibe coding. You have an idea, you type it out, and boom, you have an app. But there is a catch. Thousands of these vibe-coded apps are exposing corporate data. We are building faster than we can secure. It is the Wild West, and the outlaws have power tools. Speaking of the Wild West, have you heard about the new Wild West of AI kids' toys? Connected, cuddly companions are disrupting play and privacy in equal measure. Lawmakers are now calling for them to be banned. And it is not just toys. Google has baked a 4 GB AI model directly into Chrome. It is called Gemini, and privacy advocates are raising alarms because users might not want a massive AI model running in their browser without explicit consent. Google says it is helpful. Privacy advocates say it is a surveillance risk. And then, there is the healthcare industry. You would think that with all our technological progress, we would have solved back-office automation in medicine. But no, the fax machine remains the primary bottleneck in United States healthcare. AI companies are now trying to automate the massive amount of back-office work that is stuck on fax machines, which raises a very fundamental question about our priorities. Are we using AI to augment human doctors, or just to replace broken bureaucracy?
Ethical debates and policy news.
This leads us to the ethical quagmire. When the machines move fast, the truth often gets left behind. Let us talk about leaderboards. If you follow AI, you see them everywhere. Global LLM leaderboards ranking models from best to worst. But a new analysis of ARENA data shows that these global rankings are mathematically meaningless for the top 50 models. Why? Because language and task differences cancel out valid votes. It is all statistical noise. We are treating these leaderboards like gospel, but they are really just a race for vibes. If we cannot measure who is winning, how can we regulate or trust these systems? It gets worse when we look at deep research agents. A new framework evaluating LLM deep research agents found that even frontier models have low factual accuracy, despite providing links that look perfectly valid. They cite their sources, but they do not verify them. It is the equivalent of a student writing a research paper by just making things up and tossing in a few legitimate-looking URLs at the end. This is a truth and trust crisis. And how do we audit safety when no labeled benchmarks exist for low-resource languages? Researchers are now proposing benchmarkless audit frameworks. It is a sobering admission. We are deploying models globally without a reliable way to measure their safety. And it is not just about truth, it is about power. An MIT study found that companies are specifically targeting wage premium employees for automation. In other words, they are not automating jobs to boost productivity. They are automating jobs to control the wages of workers who dare to ask for a raise. AI is being used as a weapon against labor. This has not gone unnoticed by politicians. California gubernatorial candidate Tom Steyer is proposing a new jobs guarantee for workers displaced by artificial intelligence. It is a long-shot proposal, but it signals a shift in the political wind. And finally, a bizarre cultural footnote. Stick Figure, a reggae band, went viral recently not because of their music, but because of unauthorized AI remixes. It is a nightmare battle against AI slop. The band's work was copied, mutated, and distributed infinitely without their permission. Is copyright law ready for a world where infinite variations of your work exist? And speaking of weird linguistic mutations, ChatGPT has a goblin mode problem in Chinese. Analysis shows bizarre translation artifacts and weird linguistic tics in its Chinese output. It is the machine equivalent of a false friend. In language, a sign that models are hallucinating cultural context, not just facts.
Tools and practical updates.
Despite all these existential questions, the tools keep getting better. Let us look at what is actually landing in the real world. First up is Sira, the superintelligent retrieval agent. Instead of searching the web step-by-step in multiple rounds, Sira compresses multi-round search into a single retrieval action using LLM cognition and corpus statistics. It is faster, it is more efficient, and it is a glimpse into how agents will actually operate in the future. Then there is the open-source AI CFD scientist for fluid dynamics. This system uses vision language verification to catch what it calls silent failures, errors in the simulation that traditional models would just overlook. It is AI moving from generating text to verifying physical reality. Staying in the physical world, researchers are using predictive and prescriptive AI to optimize wildfire suppression. Machine learning is now helping to assign crews and predict wildfire dynamics, which could save lives and property. And in chemistry, Synthagy is letting chemists design molecules by simply describing them. You type out what you want, and the AI reasons through the synthesis and reaction planning. It is the democratization of molecular design. We also have new frameworks for Agentic AI. MASPO is optimizing prompts across interacting agents and multi-agent systems, bridging the gap between local goals and global outcomes. Strata is introducing trajectory-level strategy into agentic reinforcement learning, improving exploration and credit assignment. SkillOS is allowing agents to distill and curate skills from experience, evolving without manual intervention. And researchers are now exploring recursive agent optimization agents that can spawn and delegate subtasks to instantiations of themselves, recursively, to scale context. These are not just chatbots anymore. These are autonomous systems that learn, adapt, and replicate their own cognitive labor. So, where does this leave us? We have AI writing the majority of code at major companies, while simultaneously leaking corporate data through unsecured vibe-coded apps. We have leaderboards that are mathematically meaningless, and AI models that are hallucinating citations and cultural idioms. We have corporations using automation to target wage premiums, and politicians racing to catch up with job guarantees. The thread connecting all of this is trust. We are building superintelligent tools on unstable foundations. We are assuming that because the machines can speak, they are telling the truth, and because they can code, they are secure. But the reality is, the architecture is fragile, the measurements are flawed, and the incentives are misaligned. If AI is writing most of the code and automating the support, who is responsible when the vibes leak your corporate data? Let me know your thoughts online using the hashtag Byte of Truth. We are building superintelligent tools on unstable foundations, forgetting that you cannot automate trust.